saying that he took a private jet out and left the country, possibly to a non-extradition agreement state, a country rather. The plane's trajectory seems to be headed towards Cape Verde, a country with no extradition agreement with the United States. Again,
Diddy's world just collapsed as explosive new footage from his private party hits the internet, sparking chaos in the courtroom and plunging the mogul into a storm of legal, ethical, and personal turmoil. The videos, leaked in a torrent of clips that have already gone viral, paint a raw, unfiltered portrait of a man at his most vulnerable, his voice cracking as he breaks down in a courtroom scene that feels like a punch to the gut. This isn't just another scandal, it's a seismic shift in the power dynamics of fame, privacy, and accountability. As the footage spreads, the question isn't just whether Diddy will face the consequences of his actions, but how the legal system, the media, and the public will navigate the murky waters of truth, reputation, and justice. The leaked videos, which reportedly capture a private party hosted by Diddy, have already ignited a firestorm of speculation. Some clips show what appears to be a chaotic, high-energy event, while others hint at darker undercurrents, moments that have been dissected by fans, critics, and legal analysts alike. But the most shocking footage, the one that has dominated headlines, is the courtroom scene where Diddy is seen visibly distraught, his face red, his voice trembling as he speaks, in a way that suggests he's not just defending himself, but grappling with the weight of his own past. Whether the videos are genuine or staged, their impact is undeniable. They've turned a private moment into a public spectacle, forcing the world to confront the line between personal freedom and legal accountability. At the heart of this controversy lies the legal battle that has already been raging for months. Diddy, whose real name is Kevin Hart, is facing multiple lawsuits, including allegations of sexual misconduct, drug trafficking, and other crimes. The leaked videos, if they contain evidence of illegal activity, could serve as a game changer in these cases. For prosecutors, the footage might be the missing piece of evidence needed to secure a conviction, while for Diddy's legal team, it's a potential weapon to undermine the credibility of the claims against him, but the admissibility of these videos in court is far from guaranteed. Lawyers on both sides are already scrambling to determine whether the content violates privacy laws, whether it was obtained through legal means, and whether it's relevant to the charges. The legal system is a delicate balancing act between protecting individual rights and ensuring justice, and these videos have thrown that balance into chaos. If the footage depicts explicit acts of misconduct, it could sway public opinion and pressure judges to rule in favor of the prosecution. But if the videos are deemed to have been obtained through unethical means, such as hacking or coercion, legal teams might argue that they should be excluded as evidence. The courtroom, which is supposed to be a space for truth, now feels like a battleground where the rules of evidence are being tested, and Diddy, who has long been a symbol of power and privilege, is now the defendant in a case that questions not just his actions, but the very nature of accountability in the public eye. Beyond the legal implications, the leaked videos have reignited a broader debate about media ethics and the right to privacy. In an age where celebrities are under constant scrutiny, the line between public interest and personal privacy has never been thinner. The videos, which were supposed to be private, have now become a global spectacle, dissected by tabloids, social media, and even legal experts. Some argue that the public has a right to know, especially when the content could reveal criminal behavior. Others counter that the videos, which lack context and are often sensationalized, can damage reputations unfairly. For Diddy, who has faced years of scrutiny over his past, the leak feels like a continuation of a pattern, a public figure being judged not by his actions, but by the way they're framed in the media. The media's role in this story is both a catalyst and a complicator. News outlets have a responsibility to report the truth, but when the truth is buried in a sea of leaked footage, the risk of misinformation grows. The videos, which were released without context, have been amplified by algorithms that prioritize drama over nuance. This has led to a situation where the public is more likely to believe the most shocking clips than the full story. For Diddy, this means his reputation is being shaped not by his legal defense, but by the way the videos are interpreted. The media's hunger for clicks and views has turned a private moment into a public spectacle, leaving Diddy to navigate a narrative that he didn't choose. But the most human aspect of this story is the emotional toll it's taking on Diddy. The courtroom scene where he is seen crying is a stark reminder that behind the public persona lies a man who is struggling with the consequences of his actions. Whether the videos are a reflection of guilt, shame, or the weight of legal pressure, they reveal a side of Diddy that the world hasn't seen in years. This moment, raw and unfiltered, humanizes him in a way that the headlines never could. It's a reminder that even the most powerful figures are not immune to the emotional fallout of being exposed. The courtroom, which is supposed to be a place of logic and evidence, now feels like a stage where Diddy is forced to confront the personal cost of his choices. The fallout for Diddy is already evident. Friends, colleagues, and even fans are expressing their concerns, with some distancing themselves from him as the situation escalates. The videos have also raised questions about the long-term consequences of his public image. If the legal cases against him are successful, the damage could be irreversible. But even if he walks free, the reputational scars may linger. The media's relentless focus on his private life has already made it difficult for him to separate. His personal and professional worlds and the leaked videos could accelerate that erosion. Mesas. For Diddy, the challenge is not just about surviving the legal battles, but about reclaiming his narrative in a world that seems determined to define him by the scandal. This story is a microcosm of a larger issue, the tension between fame, privacy, and accountability. In an era where the line between public and private is increasingly blurred, the leaked videos serve as a stark reminder of how easily personal moments can become public spectacle. For Diddy, the fallout is a lesson in the cost of power and the price of being a public figure. But for the rest of us, it's a reminder of the complexities of justice, the ethics of media, and the human cost of living in the spotlight. As the legal proceedings unfold and the videos continue to circulate, one thing is clear: the world is watching, and the consequences of this moment will ripple far beyond the courtroom. Diddy is in emotional turmoil as leaked videos expose the chaos of his private party. The public is outraged, but the real story is far more complex. This isn't just about a party, it's a seismic shift in how we view power, privilege, and accountability. Stay tuned for the full story. The leaked videos, which have already sparked a firestorm of debate, reveal a scene that feels ripped from the pages of a tabloid scandal. Footage of a lavish gathering, filled with flashing lights, expensive champagne, and an air of unfiltered excess, has been shared online, drawing both fascination and condemnation. The event, which took place in a secluded location known only to a select few, has been described as a private party that defies the boundaries of public decency. Yet the details remain murky. Some claim the gathering was a celebration of a milestone, others suggest it was a moment of reckoning, and a few insist it was a gathering of power brokers who saw no need to hide their influence. What's clear is that the footage has ignited a conversation that extends far beyond the confines of a single night. The event itself, if the leaked videos are to be believed, was an exercise in indulgence. Attendees, many of whom are figures of prominence in entertainment, business, and politics, were seen laughing, dancing, and engaging in behavior that would be unthinkable in the public eye. One clip in particular has become the subject of intense scrutiny, a moment where a group of individuals, including those who have long been associated with Diddy's empire, appeared to be engaged in a private discussion that seems to veer into something far more personal. The footage, shot from a distance, captures a tension that is difficult to decipher. Is this a moment of camaraderie, or is it a glimpse into a deeper, more troubling reality? The ambiguity has only fueled the speculation. Diddy, who has long been a figure of both admiration and controversy, has not remained silent in the wake of the leaks. In a recent statement, he addressed the situation with a mix of defiance and vulnerability. "This isn't about me," he said, his voice carrying the weight of someone who has spent years navigating the complexities of fame. "It's about the people who chose to be part of this world. They knew what they were signing up for." His words, though carefully chosen, have done little to quell the storm. Critics argue that his statement is an attempt to deflect responsibility, while supporters insist that he is simply acknowledging the reality of his influence. The truth, as with most things in this story, is far from clear. The reactions to the leaked videos have been as polarized as the event itself. On one side, there are those who see the footage as a necessary reckoning, a moment where the curtain is pulled back on the excesses of a system that has long operated in the shadows. They argue that the public has a right to know, that the line between private and public has blurred too much, and that the behavior captured in the videos is a reflection of a culture that prioritizes power over accountability. On the other side, there are those who view the leaks as a distortion of reality, a narrative crafted to tarnish a figure who has built an empire through talent, innovation, and hard work. They point to the context of the event, suggesting that the footage is incomplete, that the circumstances surrounding the gathering were far more nuanced than the clips suggest. What is undeniable, however, is the impact of the leaks on the public discourse. The videos have become a focal point for broader conversations about the intersection of fame, privacy, and morality. For many, the footage is a reminder that no one is immune to scrutiny, that the lives of the wealthy and powerful are not as insulated as they may seem. Others see it as a warning, a sign that the public is becoming more willing to.
This is the worst case I have ever seen as far as the facts go.
They raided the Phoenix facility in hazmat suits as part of a multi-state investigation into the illegal trafficking and sale of human body parts. But for the first time, we're now able to see the testimony from one of the FBI agents who conducted the raid, and what he recounts is shocking.
It is the sentence of this court that first of all you be committed to the Michigan Department of Corrections, serve a minimum of 2 years on the felony firearm. After that, you will serve 37 years to a minimum of 100 years on the second-degree murder. Concurrent to those, you'll serve 20 years to 80 years on the carjacking and 3 to 5 years on the carrying a concealed weapon.
Is asking the judge presiding over his sex crimes case to throw out evidence. This is the case where he faces more than 60 counts of sex.
Why file this right now? Let's just start there, the timing of it.
Jesse, great to be on as always. And I guess better late than never when it comes to the Department of Justice. But really, 1 month before trial is
Hold those in power accountable, even if it means peeling back the layers of their private lives. The debate has spilled into social media, where hashtags like Touch Diddy Leak and Power and Privacy have trended, with users sharing their interpretations, opinions, and even theories about the event's true purpose. Diddy, for his part, has remained a central figure in the conversation. His comments, both in interviews and on social media, have been met with a mix of support and skepticism. In one recent post, he wrote, "Life is a series of moments, some of which are meant to be seen, others not. I've lived a life that's always been in the spotlight, and sometimes that means you have to let the world in." The quote, while poetic, has been interpreted in different ways. Some see it as a reflection of his understanding of the public's right to know, while others view it as an attempt to reframe the narrative in his favor. Regardless of how it is received, his presence in the conversation is inescapable. The broader implications of the leaks extend beyond the immediate controversy. They have sparked a wider discussion about the role of the media in shaping public perception, the ethical boundaries of celebrity culture, and the responsibilities of those who wield influence. For many, the videos are a microcosm of a larger issue, the tension between personal freedom and public accountability. The question that keeps arising is whether the leaked footage, no matter how revealing, is a fair representation of the truth, or if it is merely a sensationalized version of a complex reality. This tension is not new. Throughout history, the lives of the powerful have been subject to intense scrutiny, often with the public demanding answers to questions that are not easily answered. The leaked videos, then, are part of a long tradition of public interest in the private lives of those in positions of influence. Yet the scale and speed of the current discourse are unprecedented, fueled by the internet's ability to amplify voices and spread information at an alarming rate. The challenge now is to navigate this landscape without losing sight of the facts, without allowing the noise to drown out the nuances of a story that is as much about the individuals involved as it is about the culture that surrounds them. As the conversation continues to evolve, one thing remains certain: the leaked videos have forced a reckoning, not just with Diddy and his associates, but with the broader society that watches, judges, and sometimes shapes the narratives that define their lives. Whether this will lead to greater transparency, deeper understanding, or simply more drama remains to be seen. What is clear is that the story is far from over, and that the world is watching, waiting for the next chapter. If you found this video compelling, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next big story. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep an eye on the ever-changing landscape of fame, power, and public accountability. The leaked videos have become a focal point in a broader conversation about the erosion of privacy in the digital age, a topic that has gained urgent relevance as technology continues to blur the lines between public and private life. These videos, which were initially dismissed as mere glimpses into the lives of those in the spotlight, have instead sparked a deeper examination of how individuals, especially those who have built their careers on visibility, navigate the paradox of being both seen and unseen. At their core, these leaks are not just about scandal or voyeurism. They are about the fragile nature of personal boundaries in a world where the act of sharing has become both a currency and a vulnerability. The footage captures moments that were meant to be private, moments that reveal the raw, unfiltered humanity of individuals who are often perceived as untouchable. This tension between intimacy and visibility is no longer an abstract concept. It is a lived reality for millions, and the leaked videos serve as a stark reminder of how easily the boundaries we construct can be breached. The digital age has redefined what it means to be seen. In the past, privacy was a matter of physical space, doors, walls, and the discretion of others. Today, it is a matter of algorithmic curation, data collection, and the relentless appetite for content. The leaked videos exemplify this shift, as they were not merely stolen, but amplified by the very platforms that were meant to protect them. The ease with which these moments were disseminated underscores a truth that many have long suspected. In the digital ecosystem, privacy is not a guarantee, but a privilege. For individuals who have built their careers on public engagement, this vulnerability is both a paradox and a reality. They are constantly exposed to the gaze of millions, yet they are also acutely aware of the risks that come with that exposure. The leaked videos, therefore, are not just a violation of trust, but a reflection of a system that has normalized the commodification of personal moments. What makes these videos particularly unsettling is the way they strip away the layers of performance that often accompany public personas. Celebrities, influencers, and public figures are frequently portrayed as invincible, untouchable by the same vulnerabilities that affect ordinary people. Yet the emotional reactions captured in the footage challenge this narrative. The videos show individuals grappling with a range of emotions, from anger and shame to confusion and despair, emotions that are rarely acknowledged in the public discourse surrounding their lives. These reactions are not just personal, they are emblematic of a larger struggle. The constant scrutiny that comes with fame is not a choice, but a burden, and the leaked videos lay bare the psychological toll of living in a world where every action is dissected and every emotion is laid bare. This is not about the morality of the individuals involved, but about the systemic pressures that shape their experiences. The emotional reactions in the footage also serve as a reminder that no one is immune to the consequences of public exposure. The idea that celebrities are somehow impervious to the pain of being judged is a dangerous myth. The leaked videos reveal that even those who have mastered the art of public visibility are not immune to the emotional fallout of being watched, criticized, and misrepresented. This is not to say that the individuals in the videos are blameless, but rather to acknowledge that the circumstances that led to the leaks are part of a larger pattern of how public figures are shaped by the expectations of their audience. The emotional toll of constant scrutiny is not a personal failing, but a structural reality, one that is amplified by the very platforms that have made fame so accessible. The leaked videos also raise questions about the role of the audience in perpetuating this cycle of exposure. In an era where content creation is a form of participation, the line between observer and participant has become increasingly blurred. Viewers are not just passive consumers of content, they are co-creators of the narratives that shape public perception. The way these videos have been shared, commented on, and interpreted reflects a culture that thrives on the spectacle of personal moments. This culture is not inherently malicious, but it is one that prioritizes engagement over empathy, validation over understanding. The leaked videos, therefore, are not just a story about privacy, but about the collective responsibility of a society that has become complicit in the erosion of personal boundaries. The implications of these leaks extend beyond the individuals involved. They serve as a microcosm of a broader societal shift toward transparency and the devaluation of privacy. In a world where the pursuit of fame and influence is often tied to the ability to share one's life with the world, the line between public and private has become increasingly porous. The leaked videos highlight how this shift has created a culture where personal moments are no longer sacred, but are instead treated as commodities to be consumed and repurposed. This transformation is not just about technology, it is about the changing values of a society that has come to equate visibility with authenticity. The result is a system where individuals are expected to be open, vulnerable, and accessible, but at the cost of their own agency and dignity. The leaked videos also offer a glimpse into the psychological mechanisms that individuals use to navigate this reality. For those in the public eye, the act of maintaining a public persona is a constant balancing act between authenticity and performance. The leaked videos disrupt this balance, forcing individuals to confront the dissonance between the curated image they present to the world and the unfiltered reality of their lives. This dissonance is not just a personal struggle, but a reflection of a system that demands perfection while allowing for imperfection. The emotional reactions captured in the footage are a testament to the toll of this duality, as individuals are forced to reconcile the expectations of their audience with the complexities of their own emotions. Ultimately, the leaked videos are more than a series of events. They are a symptom of a larger cultural shift. They reveal how the digital age has redefined the nature of intimacy, visibility, and vulnerability. In a world where privacy is no longer a given, the act of sharing has become both a form of connection and a form of exposure. The emotional reactions in the footage are a reminder that no one is truly immune to the consequences of this shift. The leaked videos challenge us to reconsider the cost of our collective obsession with visibility, to question the systems that prioritize exposure over protection, and to reflect on the human cost of a society that has come to equate privacy with weakness. As we continue to navigate this complex landscape, the lessons from the leaked videos are clear. The boundaries we draw in the digital age are not just about protecting ourselves from prying eyes, but about reclaiming the right to define our own narratives. The emotional toll of constant scrutiny is a reminder that visibility does not equate to freedom, and that the act of being seen is not inherently empowering. The leaked videos, therefore, are not just a story about privacy, but about the need to reassert control over the stories we tell and the lives we live. In doing so, we can begin to create a culture that values authenticity over spectacle, empathy over judgment, and the dignity of the individual over the demands of the public gaze. If you found this reflection on the intersection of privacy, visibility, and emotional vulnerability thought-provoking, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. There you'll find more in-depth explorations of the societal shifts shaping our digital lives, as well as conversations that challenge us to think critically about the world we're building. Let's continue this dialogue together, one video at a time.
Cassie had said that Diddy was pretty explosive when he found out that Cassie was taking his drugs, and Diddy had actually contacted drug dealers not to give drugs to Cassie at this point. The defense was trying to paint it out that Diddy was just worried about her health and that she was taking a lot of drugs including ketamine, GHB, MDMA, ecstasy. They talked about the Cannes Film Festival trip where Diddy had squeezed Cassie's leg so hard that a bruise appeared on her whenever she was taking pictures on red carpets, and he had squeezed her leg so hard, according to Cassie, because she had taken drugs from him. And then there was an interesting point that was talked about in 2013 where the defense was saying that Diddy overdosed on drugs after a freak-off. Diddy was hosting a party at a Playboy mansion. Cassie had to actually take him into the hospital, and that's when Cassie had learned that he had overdosed. There were a lot of points just throughout her test. Did she use drugs without Diddy? Did she use drugs when she was with her friends? Oh, do you not remember these questions or these answers because you were addicted to drugs around that time period? And so there was a point where Cassie had said that there was a time that Diddy didn't want Cassie to do drugs, even though she still was, or even though that Diddy still was. The defense says Diddy didn't want you hanging out with a certain friend. The friend's name was Bana. Bana is also a pretty important name into this story. I had covered her when she had filed her civil claim against Diddy. Bana was allegedly hung outside of a balcony by Diddy when he was going through a rage period, something that Cassie had talked about in her direct testimony to yesterday. And the defense was trying to say, well, you and Bana, you guys did a lot of drugs together. And Cassie at this time was saying, she was doing opioids. Meanwhile, Bana, according to Cassie, provided these drugs like opioids. Meanwhile, Bana did cocaine, according to Cassie.
Client drug trafficking, one of the underlying crimes of racketeering. And I'm curious how they had that whole conversation regarding drugs. Was it just to suggest, she had a drug issue herself that was her own problem? Or was it also to suggest, hey, he had a drug problem and that explains a lot of his behavior, which if I understood it correctly, is interesting because I'm not sure I quite understood where they were going with that. I have an idea of where they were going with that, maybe to explain away some of his actions that they originally said were indefensible. So talk to us about what we know about all the drug use. What was the conversation about that? What was she questioned about?
Yeah, the drug use was also pretty prominent, especially during the afternoon portion. She was questioned, and I feel like the questioning along the lines, to your point, Jesse, was trying to paint her out to be kind of this drug addicted person during the time frame. They were questioning her, did she use drugs while Diddy and Gina were seen at Revolt Fest together, because somebody thought that that was actually Cassie. And so Cassie had sent kind of a nasty message to Diddy's entire staff that she thought were family, staff that she had thought had her back. But then when seeing these pictures, knowing that this was a point of contention in their relationship, she said she got upset about it because she thought the staff was her family and thought they were kind of in on this. And so those were a lot of the focus of just the other people who kind of played a role into just the tension that was displayed in the relationship between Cassie and Diddy.
And yeah, they questioned, it seemed to me, a lot of her motivations. They brought up the November 2023 lawsuit to suggest you knew this was going to ruin his career, right? Now, there was a large section of the testimony regarding drug use, and I couldn't tell if it was to suggest that, hey, Combs isn't responsible for your drug use. You know, one of the things he's charged with, right, is alleged he used drugs to